Hello everyone, and welcome to my EastEnders Media News channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. When Gloria's Memorial Day finally arrives, George is still dealing with his wounds from the previous fight. George is forced to go to the hospital by Cindy and Phil as he starts to feel lightheaded and almost passes out. Once there, George finds out that repeated head trauma is the cause of a neurological ailment he has. George is warned that he could die from one more severe knock. The news that George has been fighting and that Cindy was aware of it alarms Elaine, Anna, and Gina. Later, Rufus offers to set up another fight for George and pays him the money from last night. Yolanda, meantime, is adamant about traveling alone when she goes to the church authorities to report Pastor Clayton. Levi commends Yolanda for her bravery and says he will look into it. In another scene, Billy nearly loses his cool when he witnesses Stevie hanging out with Will at the cafe. Phil advises Billy to stay in closer proximity to Stevie in order to ascertain his genuine intentions. Denzel chooses to exercise with influencer Ebony today as well. Spoilers for EastEnders ahead. Next week, George Knight of EastEnders is going to get a health diagnosis that could change his life. George's next big week could start disastrously when he finds out from his daughters that Eddie arranged Gloria's burial without telling him. Feeling conflicted about this, George calls Rufus to set up a brawl. Gina and Anna, who are worried about their father, decide to assist George cope with his grief by hosting a memorial service for Gloria in the Vic. They even invite their half-brother Junior to attend. George is recovering from severe injuries sustained in his struggle the previous evening on the day of Gloria's memorial. Gina and Anna are upset that Junior is not coming, but things worsen when George experiences vertigo and nearly passes out. When Cindy and Phil realize what's going on, they insist that George visit the hospital. After giving George a CAT scan when they get there, the medical professionals learn that he has a brain ailment connected to frequent head trauma. When the doctor warns George that he could die from a single blow, the situation becomes more dire. Elaine and the girls became enraged upon learning that George has been having covert fights, and Cindy was fully aware of them. Cindy finds herself in a difficult situation when she later sees George being contacted by Rufus, who offers him the money from last night and another fight. The fact that Gina and Anna won't talk to her because they are upset that she has been hiding George's boxing secret makes her difficulties much worse. After a while, they decide to have lunch together, and Cindy makes a vow to persuade George to stop fighting. Cindy then strikes up a heated discussion with George, who at first turns down her offer of using internet counseling to help him deal with his intense feelings. After she finally talks George into it, Cindy is relieved, but when he's by himself, he calls Rufus to schedule a fight for the next week. Cindy throws him an ultimatum after he tells her what he plans to do, but will this be sufficient to get him to change his mind? Gina and Anna are assured by Cindy that she will persuade George to refrain from fighting. When she sees George, he declines her offer of using internet counseling to better manage his feelings. In the end, Cindy manages to persuade George. Later, George calls Rufus to set up another fight for the following week, taking a significant risk. He tells Cindy what he's planning, but she issues a warning. As all of this is going on, Patrick is getting impatient with Yolanda's complaint and tells Levi that if things don't get resolved quickly, he'll take matters into his own hands. At the community center, Yolanda stops Patrick and asks him to stop confronting Pastor Clayton. Billy visits Stevie somewhere else and inquires about his true desires. Nevertheless, Stevie maintains that all he wants is to get to know his family. Amy isn't pleased to learn that Denzel is working with influencer Ebony today either. In forthcoming scenes on the BBC soap opera EastEnders, George Knight, who is separated from his son Junior Knight, will reconcile with him. A well-known actor has been cast for the part of Junior, who is going to Walford. But it's obvious he's hiding something, and his supervisors won't say why he and George are at odds or what brought him to Walford. More information on Junior will be released soon. It has been announced that Junior will make his movie debut later this month. His first sequences have already been filmed. The actor that has been confirmed to play the part is Micah Balfour, who is well known to fans from his parts in popular television series. Micah is well known in soap opera land. He starred as Belle Dingle's lover Jermaine Bailey in Emmerdale from 2015 to 2016. In addition, the actor starred in popular television series such as The Bill, Casualty, The Murders at White House Farm, Death in Paradise, and Doctor Who. Holby City, Silent Witness, and Doctors are additional roles. Micah hinted that Junior will create a stir in his remarks on his new job, describing the character as complex. "I'm excited to be joining the EastEnders cast as a member of the Knight family," he declared. "The most bizarre experience of my career was entering the square for the first time because I grew up watching the show and have known many of the characters for as long as I can remember. It's an honor to collaborate with Colin Salmon, whom I've admired for a long time, as well as the incredible Harriet Thorpe and Kelly Bright, as well as Francesca Henry and Molly Rainford, who are explosive on screen. Junior is a complex man who will create some agitation, therefore he's a fascinating character to play. I'm delighted to welcome Micah Balfour to the cast of EastEnders as he takes on the role of Junior Knight," said executive producer Chris Crenshaw. The audience is mostly unaware of George's son and the reasons behind their estrangement, despite references to Junior since the Knights arrived in the square. After an unexpected encounter with his father, Junior travels to Walford and is immediately thrown into the center of the action. But viewers will soon realize that there's more to Junior than first meets the eye. "I'll be sad to see him go, but I've loved every minute of playing the character," he stated at the time. "Having been a part of that last tale for the past 6.5 years, I have truly appreciated being a part of something that people will remember." The fact that Cush's story comes to an abrupt conclusion is a pleasant touch. "Even though Cush's time is coming to an end, he has brought me many joyful memories, and I will miss him terribly." Soon after, she goes to Whitney's and demands answers. Zach gets home and attempts to avoid Bianca's questions. But after Brittany's diagnosis, it becomes too much for him, so he departs again. Later, he goes to see Whitney at the Vic, but Wida, a mother, interrupts them to tell Whitney about her son's struggle with Usher syndrome. Fans of the soap opera will remember that it was only recently made public that Whitney had paid Brittany's mother to adopt her unofficially, and this week's scenes feature Brittany receiving a type 2 Usher syndrome diagnosis. Thanks for watching if you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and don't miss any updates.